Welcome back, everyone. God bless you. God bless America. I'm your host, Steve, and this is The Liberal Letdown. Today, we're going to take a quick minute. We're going to talk about Maxine Waters and how she's calling for actions of those that she claims that her opposition are. For those of you who don't know and haven't heard, she got on a bullhorn and was screaming at her crowd how they need to harass members of the Trump administration. And I don't know how I feel about that. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to read her quote here for you. This is the real big video that's been going around here currently. Already have you have members of your cabinet that are being booed out of restaurants. We have protesters taking up at their house who are saying no peace, no sleep, no peace, no sleep. We're going to win this battle because while you try and quote the Bible, Jeff Sessions and others, you really don't know the Bible. God is on our side, on the side of the children, on the side of what's right, on the side of what's honorable, on the side of understanding that if we can't protect the children, we can't protect anybody. Okay. She finished, if you see anybody from that cabinet in a restaurant, in a department store, at a gasoline station, you get out and you create a crowd. You push back on them, tell them they're not welcome anymore, anywhere. So, call me crazy. That's a call for potential violence, right? That is an absolute call for at least harassment, which in a private business is illegal. Kristen Nielsen, she was harassed the other day in a private restaurant. That is illegal. She should have called the police, and she should have demanded the police remove the protesters. Now, it is within the owner's or the manager's rights to ask her to leave. You don't have to serve anybody you don't want to. But that is a very slippery slope. You sit there and you start telling people, I don't want you here, I don't like your kind here, I don't like your thoughts, I don't like this, I don't like that, I don't like this, I don't like that. Eventually, you're just going to have segregation all over again. It may not be black and white. This would be blue and red. I mean, and the only way people know is if they know your face. It's not like I walk around with a MAGA hat. I don't, personally. I know a person at work who does. I think it's hysterical. And he's a hell of a guy. I don't see anything wrong with it. He's proud of his president. I think everybody should be. And I also feel that people have reason to grimace at President Trump at times. But to sit there and call Jeff Sessions an unhonorable man is just... That blows my mind. I would disagree with that statement. I feel that just because you got on a podium and screamed at people at a very small crowd in front of you with a bullhorn doesn't mean that you're above anybody. I also feel that eventually this is going to turn into violence because about a year ago around this time, there was a Bernie Sanders supporter who shot up the Republican softball game practice with the intention of killing as many of them as possible. Now, it's not Bernie Sanders' fault. I would never say that. I don't feel that it was. I don't feel that Bernie called for the deaths of anybody. However, his socialist beliefs eventually called for that. I don't feel that he demanded any type of actions along those lines, personally. But now you have somebody who is supposed to be a prominent figure in the Democratic Party calling for illegal harassment of people because of personal beliefs. So people are going to be persecuted on their thoughts and on their beliefs and on facts most of the time, because Republicans and conservatives typically don't think and act on feeling or emotion. A lot do. Some do. But that's pretty close to exclusively a Democratic thing, a liberal thing. Save the children. She had to have that crutch, and that crutch was kids. So she stuck with that crutch. Oh, if we can't save the kids, we can't save anybody. Well, she doubled down on the fact that Trump just signed an executive order keeping kids with their parents. So she's still going on something that has been essentially killed off until it's overruled in court, like it was to Obama. Because it's inhumane to keep kids with their parents in a prison. So what she's calling for is the same thing that Kamala Harris is calling for, and that's open borders, and that's not going to happen. I feel that absolutely should not happen. If anything, you wall it and minefield it. Or maybe not minefield, but potentially. We'll talk about it later. Maybe not today, but minefield. At least build a wall. A great big wall. You can use as many ladders as you want. If you get hurt trying to climb it, the real coyotes will come up and eat you. What Maxine is doing, she's just trying to rile people up. But the worst part is she's going to find a couple crazy people, a couple Antifa people, people who are predisposed to violence and that commit violence regularly. And they're going to be in these groups, and they're going to bike lock one of Trump's administrative people, and it's all hell's going to break loose. You're going to have Homeland Security. You're going to have Secret Service. All these people are just going to tear through and put a stop to this. And then, at that point, it will look like police state strong-arm tactics. And that's the problem. I can't remember off the top of my head who said today, but somebody called for Trump administration people to go ahead and get your concealed carries to defend yourselves. I think that's a fantastic idea. I actually messaged a gentleman today on Facebook, and I said, he was talking about the current situation, and I don't understand. I don't understand how people. I mean, if somebody knew I was a conservative in the real world, walking around, how are people going to act to this? If they love Maxine Waters, are they going to try and do this to me, to you, to your family? Eventually, it's going to come to that. They're going to try and just travel en masse, and they're going to just try and shout down everybody they come across, because that is what they're doing. That is what they want to do. They're going to harass people whose faces they recognize in public, in restaurants. They're going to kick out prominent people whose faces on TV literally every day because of her beliefs and because of what she says, because of who she stands up for. And this little girl, Sarah Sanders had a little girl after the Florida shooting, I believe, come on air and ask her if she's going to feel safe in school. And Sarah Sanders was crying on air answering this little girl. You tell me she doesn't care about kids. And yet you're going to sit there and act like that. And I just think that's unbelievably stupid. Dan Bongino said it best. Liberals don't know this fight. He went into an example of when he was grappling with somebody, which is a type of MMA wrestling type deal, in a controlled setting, and he was terrified because he couldn't breathe. And then he compared that, and that was in a controlled setting. He compared that to a setting that was uncontrolled when he was a police officer, and he was doing the same thing. And that overwhelming fear that comes upon you when you don't know if you're going to live or die in a street fight, when you get jumped or attacked. Liberals don't know that. Liberals don't have a taste for that. Liberals don't know what is coming. They don't know what they're calling for. And to say a lot of conservatives don't either. But when you look at it, you look at everything that's happening, you look at all the shouting down, you look at all the stupid names, you look at all the experience, you look at everything, it is overwhelming. Liberals are much younger. And conservatives are much older, much wiser, and much more experienced. And that is where you find the patience. That is where you find the ability to just sit and wait, see what happens, deal with things, deal with life. And I've recognized that more and more as I've gotten into this realm of politics that I only started about a year ago myself. But you look at it, and they aren't. They're high school, or they're college kids who just love bonging beers and learning about gender studies. Or learning about, Native American culture, then they don't teach the brutal parts. You're being taught the wrong stuff. And you're absolutely not being taught how to survive, how to deal with any real world consequences. Eventually, an everyday citizen is going to be out with his family. He's going to have his MAGA hat on, or he's going to pro-Trump, or I love God, or anything conservative, and the liberals are going to try and shut down this man or woman with their family. Somebody's going to be scared, and someone's going to get shot, or someone's going to get stabbed, or someone's going to get hit by a car, or protesters are going to get ran over, like what's happening with Black Lives Matter when they were stopping traffic on highways. Somebody's going to get severely hurt or killed, and liberals are going to scream, "Oh, we told you, they're just violent, they're Nazis, they're Nazis, they're Nazis." Last time I checked, President Trump did not call for violence against anybody, against any specific person, against any specific administration, against anybody in this way whatsoever. This is fascism. Calling for a mass group of people to shout down somebody just because beliefs. You never even talked to this person. You've never heard this person speak publicly. You've never shook this person's hand. You've never seen them face to face. But however, you've seen them on TV once. You recognize them from that one instance. You look for a picture online because you might think you have a name. You find out who it is, and then you start shouting at them randomly. And you want them to feel calm, at ease. And it's just not going to happen. Especially to people who aren't in the public sphere like that. Public servant like that. It's not going to happen. You're going to have people who freak out, overreact, and it's going to be an everyday citizen, and they're going to be dragged through the mud, and they're going to be hung up and left to die, unless laws are written, or unless Trump steps in, and then he's going to be seen as showing favoritism, and he's a Nazi anyway because he's sticking up for somebody who injured or killed somebody else when he was defending him or his family from violent protesters, or he got scared about all the protesters and he tried to leave and he wasn't able to, so he defended himself and he forced his way out. That's exactly what's going to happen, especially when people like Maxine Waters, a prominent figure in the Democratic Party, are calling for violence and mass harassment of anybody from the Trump administration. It's going to happen. Secret Service with all their extensive training, might have to act on something, and then you're going to have police state. It will be never ending from the Democrats because that is what they want. They're using these stupid young kids as pawns, and I say that because I'm a stupid young kid, except I'm not a liberal, as pawns to do their bidding, because then they can point the finger at this young kid and say, "Hey, you did it okay. Look what these people did to you." And it'll be a never-ending cycle, and it'll be just a big battle cry going into the midterms. This is what they're banking on. I bet on it. Bet on it. This is what they're banking on. All right, I'm going to end it there. Thank you for listening. God bless you. God bless America. If you like what you hear, go ahead and follow me on Twitter at liberal_letdown. Send me stories. Send me stuff you want me to talk about. I'll talk about whatever. Just let me know. If you have something specific, send it to my Gmail, theliberalletdown@gmail.com. Once again, God bless you, and God bless America.